Great. So, hi everyone. We're back on our fourth episode of the Founder Speak series. With us today, we have Mr. Ian Murdoch, the founder of Petit Monde Energy and Jolly Volt. With his expertise in the energy and electric industry, we're going to take a deep dive into his decades of experience. So, before we begin our discussion, Mr. Murdoch, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and like what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I started Jollywell together with a few friends who really our co-founder Susanne had the idea to fundamentally improve customer experience at EV charging, specifically fast charging sites. And so we started off developing software that allows chargers to be customized to whatever the charge point operator feels is appropriate for their audience. And the Lithium Energy Angle is really a platform for private equity to fund a buy and build strategy of installation businesses to install more charging hubs.
Got it. Cool. So, how did you like come about this idea? Because I know like it was, I think believe it's more of like a recently started idea for the last like 2, 3 years. So, how did like this idea just like how'd you
Yeah, so
take the
I guess this is the fourth and fifth startup that I'm involved with, and two others have been with charging infrastructure as well. And so the Petit Monde angle came from a recognition that the scarcity in the market is not going to be hardware, it's going to be labor to install the hardware. And so that is the hardest part to scale. We figured, well, we're going to get into that. We're providing a platform to consolidate installation businesses onto, professionalize the services, their procurement, their planning processes, and also operations for maintenance and repair as well. And the idea came about from working in this industry for 10 years and seeing how a lot of people are struggling with finding appropriate labor and finding good service partners who will provide the full gamut of services that they need.
All right. So, you said that you've done like 4 or 5 startups before. What made you like take the step from one startup to the other to the other to the other, or like any along those lines, like the transition
Yeah, so
adaptability aspect?
the I seem to go between doing corporate jobs and startups. My first one, like many, while a startup that I was working at during university, um, they went bankrupt, and I founded a new business after that, straight after it. So, still at university, we started off with high performance compute business, which back in the day was a thing. Now nobody really needs it, apart from the really high scale businesses, academia um, that wanted it, or maybe now with AI, we're going to get there again. But really, our target audience was gamers and recording studios.
Yeah.
And obviously, today, most people buy that hardware off the shelf. We got into that, we bootstrapped it, and it worked quite well for about 7 years. And my co-founder and I, we both had other ideas of what to do with life than just build and sell hardware to people and service it in small businesses. We wanted to be more international, so we both went corporate. And then a few years later, with another friend, we founded a consulting business after spinning out of Deloitte, having worked there for first PwC and then Deloitte for 5 years. We started another consulting business. So the same operating model, the same business model that we had seen and learned as consulting managers, we took in our own topic. Back in the day, it was Sarbanes-Oxley consulting, and we ran with that. And it was an opportunity in the market. You see an opportunity, you make a dash for it, and you capitalize as much as you can. And then when that went away, we closed the business, or rather sold the business, and moved on. I took another corporate job. Right after that corporate job, I got in at ABB. I got into charging infrastructure. From there, I've been in charging all along. And so you accumulate a lot of experience. You see customer pain points, and you come up with ideas, and you think you can do it better. You
Mhm.
need a certain creativity and arrogance really to be a founder.
Yeah.
So you have to believe you can be better than the rest. And so you assemble, in my case, I like doing this with others. So you assemble other people capable of supporting you, filling your gaps, and off we went and started those businesses.
All right. How important is like passion when it comes? Because I see a lot of young entrepreneurs being like, "Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur," but they don't exactly like have a passion for a certain like aspect. Is that passion more important than like just the I want to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a private equity friend who says there's some people who are entrepreneurs as a lifestyle, and there's some who are really the hard driving founders who will actually get their business off the ground. And if you do see this as a lifestyle choice, then you're going to bumble along and you're going to make a little bit of money, but you might as well get more or the same in a corporate job with less hassle. Um, and some people just want to be able to say, I run my own business. But that was never the reason for me. It was always, is anybody else doing this? Can I join another team? That would be my first instinct. Can I join another team? Have I got something that others need? So make myself useful and then join the team and run with it. And if that's not the case, then go start it yourself and assemble that team of other people who share that passion. Founding a business is hard. It's a 7 day a week, 365-day job. You don't ever stop thinking about your business and your customers and your product, and so you worry about it a lot. In my case, I've always put my own money on it. If you're not putting in your own money, you're really just employed by your investor, and you'll be reporting to your investor on everything. So I try to limit the involvement of investors as far as I can, as far as I can afford to. And then I can steer the company the way I want it to. But that means I worry about it. If I lose a customer contract, I worry. Can I make payroll? Can I develop the next feature set that I have that I believe is going to be a huge thing in the market? And it's always the excitement and the creativity and the exuberance that comes out. And 2 hours later, you get slammed by either a competitor doing something very similar to you or having better funding, or they want a customer contract you wanted. It's the permanent up and down that you have to live with. If you just do it because, yeah, that's sounds cool on the CV, you're not going to put up with that up and down, the emotional up and down of it very long.
All right. That's nice because I think that's a good insight for like all the young entrepreneurs that are just like, I want to be an entrepreneur for the sake of being an entrepreneur. But well, off that entrepreneurship, how important is it to have that like core team around you? Or can sometimes can it just be like a one man show? Or is it important to like have like a team?
It depends on what you're doing and whether you've all the capabilities you need in yourself and what type of person you are. I like working with others. I I develop ideas by sparring with others, and other people aren't like that. Other people like to just think and think and think, and then test it with customers, and they're done. And so it depends on your personality. It depends how you do your best work. I tend to do my best work together with others, so I always chose the team route. A team can be anywhere from two upwards,
Yeah.
and I am very aware of things that I don't like and I don't do very well. And so I find other people who compensate for that. There's all sorts in the world. You're always going to find somebody who's going to be good at what you're not. And so um, I believe at least having two people helps, particularly in the early stages of you haven't yet got funding. You're trying to get funding. You're trying to push product. You're trying to get customers. That's three full-time jobs. You're trying to do this with one or two people. It's really hard unless you're super lucky and you get one of them perfectly done in the first pass while you're not even trying to get the others covered.
Mhm.
That's great. Maybe that's also a piece of advice. Try to separate them if you can. Build a bit of product before you even go too far. Or like some people in AI are doing, get some funding before they even develop a product. Um, but each one of those, product, funding, and customer acquisition, is crucial. So I definitely would spread that if you can. More founders means you're diluting your business. It means more opinions. more agreement and alignment that you have to build. But I believe it's worth it. I've seen this go wrong a few times as well with other teams, but for me, that felt like the appropriate route.
Got it. So I know you said like with more founders comes more like agreements, more like everyone on the table. But with that there were probably some disagreements as well. I'm
Sure.
assuming. How
Yeah.
do you, as a team, how do you get through those disagreements? Like as a full team, like is it just like, okay, one person's gonna have the call? Is it like we all need to like come to a conclusion? Is it like if you can't come to a conclusion, like how do you get through disagreements?
Um, all it's a human relationship in the end. So all options that you have in any human relationship, whether it's in your family, with your partner, with your teammates at sports, whatever, it's the same thing. You can agree to disagree and move on for a time being. That kind of works typically until the heads cool off a bit and you can hear the other person better. Um, I had in my consulting business, we were able to have very heated arguments with loud voice shouting, and 2 hours later be able to go to the bar together and laugh about it.
Hmm.
It depends on the quality of the relationship, or the not the quality, the nature of the relationship of how you do this. Um, if you found together with a friend or somebody you've known for a while from uni, this is going to be different from you working through an accelerator and they match you up with someone. Then you still have to get to know the person. You probably use slightly different language in how you work with them and how you voice disagreements. But in the end, um, we've I've run one business into the ground, and as co-founders, we looked each other in the eye and said, "Yeah, we fucked up. You probably can't publish that." But we messed up, and we needed to close the business, ramp it down, and start again with something else.
Yeah.
We were both mature about it. It worked. Had another business, or even now, we're in heated arguments over where we should take the product. We've pivoted. That was one of your questions. We've pivoted already 6 months in, which is quite common. Um, we were hardware focused. We had hardware and software, and I only wanted to do software. Really, my co-founder came from a hardware business, thought that would be a great angle, and so we tried it and we failed, and we're still suffering from some of the consequences of the architecture, etc., from it. So it's extra work. But in the end, look, we started this together. You're going to have to go through this together or give up. And it takes tenacity and really emotional maturity to deal with these things. If you can't have arguments, you can't fall out to make up again, you probably shouldn't be in a business together. It's a bit like being in a relationship with your partner. Um, you you have to take the good with the bad. And if there was a bad decision, well, it's a bad decision you took. You spilled milk, move on. See how you can get out of it again.
All right. How important is failure in a startup? Like, is it important to learn, or is it just do you think failure is essential in having a good startup?
No, everybody says, yeah, fail fast. Well, yeah. If you're going to fail, fail fast. Like you don't, it's not a necessity to fail.
Oh,
You can run and not make costly mistakes. Great, good for you.
yeah.
The fact of life is you're going to make mistakes and you're not going to get it right. And you're going to have to pivot and you're going to have to readjust your customer segmentation, your funding approach, your business model, your pricing model. So you work your way through that and failure comes with it. Deal with it, move on.
Uh, how important is customer feedback to like a business, and how do you collect customer feedback in a way?
Well, it's essential. If you can't create value for your customers, they're never going to buy your product. This is especially true in B2B business, which is all I've ever done. I've never done a B2C um, business. So sometimes in B2C, people buy it because it's cool, even if there's very little value in it. People are irrational. In B2B, you're not going to get that because you have a whole set of checks and balances. So the business case has to be sound. Um, so yeah, uh, it's
How is there?
it's for me. For me, if you can't create that value, if you can't get the feedback, you're not going to be spot on. It's very rare that you're going to be spot on for more than a handful of customers. If you want to broaden the appeal of your product, you have to listen to your customers and collect that feedback early. And I've done it in various ways. I do it with pitches, proactive pitches to them, without even trying to. Well, it depends on consulting. We try to make the sale. In product business, I'm not even trying to make a sale. I'm positioning it as find something new. Would you be interested? Or here's the value proposition. What do you think of it? What would it make for you? What would it need to pass any gates internally so you can have those conversations? Conferences are a good place. The first two-thirds through the first startup, we just went to conferences and spoke to people. We didn't even have our own until we figured out how to get a free booth space.
So, when you talk about like evolving and like off that feedback, right? Is there anything like how else does evolving ever stop in a startup, or is it just always
No,
it's always
no, it's not a startup. Any business keeps evolving. No single business keeps chugging on for centuries the same way. You look at some of the oldest companies, the construction companies. I was talking to somebody from an asphalt company,
Mhm.
Tarmac. They they've evolved their business model over and over, and you keep doing this every few years.
Got it.
You,
Uh, bef-
your custom, yeah, and I think it's because customers change, the problems change that they have. You're creating value by solving other people's problems,
mhm.
and you you find either you find more problems to solve, or you find the nature of the problem has changed. Say they've automated something, and your software is not as relevant as it was. You don't want to lose that share of wallet, so you change slightly how you position your software, the problems it solves. You evolve. While you have existing customers, you learn more about their processes. You try to grow in depth or breadth with those customers.
Got it. If we flash back like just a little bit, um, how important is like an earlier stage of education? Sorry, did my Wi-Fi break up?
No, you're good. Could be mine.
My computer is fully frozen right now.
Okay, I can still hear you.
All right, I guess we'll just go with it then. How important is like previous years or like early stages of education when it comes to developing a startup?
Um, you need a solid foundation of what you're doing. One of the businesses that I coach, they're very engineering heavy.